a Victory Monday edition of the Purple Rain podcast. And before we start, comment below who you would start on Sunday, Huntley or Lamar. So much more to talk about in this episode of the Purple Rain podcast.
Gotta get Alex in here.
There we go. There we go. Welcome back to episode 364 of the Purple Rain podcast. A bright smile on both of our faces. It is a nice Victory Monday. It is a Steelers L Monday here in the YouTube verse. But 364, the Edwin Mulatalo, John Urschel, Tyler Linderbaum episode of the Purple Rain podcast. A lot of good stuff to talk about today. Good vibes. You know, the whole tune could be changed this time next week, but I'm not thinking about that right now. I'm thinking about where we're at now. But where we are at now is where you can follow us or on Instagram or on X. This guy right here at Sutton Def. Me, Instagram, simply as10.prod. X, simply as10. And boy, oh boy, it's been a wild 48 hours, I think, in the football verse. A lot of things change for our good. A lot of allegations of, the script. I saw a lot of that yesterday. But Sutton, I think I know how you're feeling, but how are you feeling before we get into the rain gang? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling optimistic, and most importantly, I'm feeling very, very delusional right now. We talked about it last week, Alex. If the Ravens were to somehow pull off a W against the Packers, which, by the way, as soon as we got done going live on, what was it, Friday, that was when the news dropped that Jordan Love was not going to play. So we recorded that whole entire episode under the assumption that Jordan Love was probably going to suit up. I predicted we were going to get blown out. Alex also predicted the Ravens would lose, but as soon as we went off live, it was announced that Malik Willis would be starting. And that kind of changed our whole perspective. We actually chatted for 10, 15 minutes after we went off live, just kind of talking about what this means, and it ended up meaning, honestly, not much, because Malik Willis played very well. He played very well, But I was glad to see, and this is why I'm happy now, I was glad to see the Ravens get back to what their actual identity was, what their identity is supposed to be. Running the football, being that team who pounds the rock, and Derrick Henry, 36 touches. We're going to get into it. We're going to get into that. Of course, we're going to get into this upcoming matchup against the Steelers. That is for literally all the marbles. Week 18 for the AFC North, for your playoff chances, because no other team is going to get a wild card, the Steelers or the Ravens. So you got to win this one. We're going to get into that. We're going to get into Lamar Jackson's status as well. And like Alex said at the top of the show, make sure you comment down below. Who do you want to see the Ravens trot out there in Week 18 against the Steelers? Do you want 100% healthy Huntley, or do you want like a 65 to 70%-ish Lamar Jackson? Right? Comment down below what you think. Again, make sure you also like this video. Like this video, subscribe to our channel as well here at the Purple Rain podcast. Again, I'm your host, Sutton Def. This is my co-host, Simply AS10. We are live every Monday and Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, talking your Baltimore Ravens. So if that sounds good to you, make sure, again, you leave a like. Also, subscribe to the channel, especially if you want to join our chat, because I believe we have a subscribers-only chat today. So shout out to all the subs in here. Bangs Eternal says, love your show. Appreciate that. Thank you for coming through. Thank you for subbing, all the support. We've got some members in the house. Ashley, one of our members in the house. What's going on, Ashley? I see Void is in the house as well. Good afternoon, Void. Shelly, what's going on? Shout out to all the Rain Gang members in the chat. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all for being a part of the Rain Gang family. We also have Coach from Sip to Tally Film. Shout out to Coach, man. Appreciate you for coming through. Checked out some of your clips earlier today. They were making some business decisions when trying to tackle Derrick Henry. We're gonna get into that too. It was beautiful to watch. Glorious stuff, right? Shout out to everybody else in the live chat. What's popping? What's going on? Make sure y'all like the video. Let's get into it though, right, Alex? Saturday night, the Ravens get a probably their best win of the year, arguably. That we haven't had a whole lot of good wins this year. We did go on a 5-game win streak there in the somewhere in the middle of the season, but it didn't really feel like, we were playing anybody for real. So it felt like a little bit of fool's gold. And I know the Packers were banged up severely, right? But that is still a good football team who is going to the playoffs. They locked up the 7th seed in their conference in a tough NFC year. So got to tip your cap to them. Malik Willis played very well. Of course, he went down in the game with, I think, a shoulder or something like that, right, Alex? But overall, it was a great performance by our Baltimore Ravens. And I want to toss it to you first in a second here, Alex, and tell us what you mainly took from that game. But before we do that, you already know our guy D-Was is in the chat, making it
Yes.
rain. Making it rain with the 2-piece in the chat. Thank you so much for donating to the channel, brother. We appreciate you. D-Was says the referee for the big game Sunday is Sean Smith.
Cover your eyes, cover your ears. You don't want to hear this. So, in seasons prior, usually he favors the away team. There's also the referee for the AFC Championship game that we lost against the Chiefs, if you're into all the bad omens. But this year now, he favors the home team. DWAS, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it's 11 out of the 14 last games he's refed, home team has won. Just letting you know. So if we are already dealing with the Steelers devil magic, the Tomlin devil magic, the Sean Smith devil magic as well. Comes in threes.
Yeah. And you already know what happened the last time the Ravens played the Steelers. It was ugly, especially down the stretch of that game with the officiating, with the Aaron Rodgers, what would have been an interception or a fumble or whatever they decided not to call it. And then, of course, with the Isaiah Likely. There's a lot of stuff in that game. So if we see a repeat of that, I literally might rip out my hair, top and beard and everything. I'll rip it out because, I mean, this is our last hope. This is the Ravens' last chance, the last stand, right? You got to go on the road. You got to beat up the Pittsburgh Steelers, take care of business, get in the dance. That's really what it boils down to. But the officiating, man, I really don't want to see it be a huge part of this game. I really don't. But Alex, again, go ahead. My bad.
You brought up the last game. I don't know if you watched that banger of a game last night. They called leverage again. The same referee, Alex Moore, called leverage, I believe, on the Niners against the Bears. I've only seen it called with his crew, which is really weird. But thankfully, he's not going to be our ref. But it's just like the way these refs, no ref crew is the same. And, hearing that 11 out of 14, the home team. But I love everything backed up against us. Usually it turns out good for us. So, but yeah, I just hope the referees don't play a factor. That's, the big thing.
Yeah, for sure. So let's go ahead and dive into this Ravens versus Packers game. Let me actually pull up the stats really quick and read them back, since it was all the way back on Saturday. It feels like forever ago at this point, especially with all the drama that we experienced yesterday, right, Alex? So let me just go through some of the stats here. The Ravens wallop the Packers, pack them up, send them home, 41-24. So the Ravens, they improved to 8-8 on the season. Still, who would have thought going into Week 18, only 8 wins? That's crazy. However, the Ravens played very well. Going through some of the team stats, because this is where it got interesting, right? I'm gonna throw a couple team stats at you, Alex, and then you take it away on your main takeaways from this game. Number one, time of possession. The Ravens possessed the ball for 40 minutes and 16 seconds. To the Packers, 19 minutes and 44 seconds. What does that tell you? That tells you the Ravens were having sustained drives and they had success running the football. And lo and behold, they score 40 points for the first time since what? Week 1? Week 2? Or week 1, right?
I believe. No, week 2. I think we put a 40. I think we put a 40 burger on the Browns week 2. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, which means still, we're talking months ago.
Yeah.
Months ago. We're talking September. It's crazy. So that was a big one for me. Of course, rushing yards, rushed for over 300 yards as a team, 307 to be exact. Again, overall, a great performance by the Ravens, dominant performance by the Ravens. But Alex, what were your biggest takeaways from this game?
I'm not going to focus on the negatives, but when we're talking about the time of possession, I have to. They were scoring way too easily. Very, very quick. I thought we went out there, and I think our first drives the past couple of games have been very, very good drives. The Patriots game, I thought the first drive was beautiful. Drove down on their defense, which, I don't think is a pushover by any means. And then against the Packers as well. Great drive. I'm like, here we go. A great first drive, and they go down the field and score easily. Christian Watson just finds the middle of our defense, cuts us like a freaking hot knife going through butter on a summer's day. And, it's 7-7, but came on back out, took the punch in the mouth, and punched them right back. And that was good to see the adversity. I like to see us fighting back. I think we easily could have, rolled over, backups. We had all the excuses we could have used, backup quarterback in. But no, we didn't. And I'm proud of the boys for that. But I feel like with what they really, took advantage of is mistake-free football. No fumbles. Derrick Henry held onto the ball, 36 carries. No interceptions from Tyler Huntley when, if you would have threw one, I probably would have given him a pass. It's a backup coming in there, but He did his job. Zay Flowers, I'll give him that. Secured the ball, got it over the line, didn't drop it like it likely did. Just small stuff like that adds up in these big games, and it looked like a well-coached team for the most part. It only took 17
Yeah.
weeks. It took 17 freaking weeks, but at least we got
Right.
it. And it's all good things to build on. But I think also small things have to go our way. A snap hitting Malik Willis in the face and Mike Green being able to, recover it. You need luck
Right.
on your side. And we had that. But the big thing for me is just Derrick Henry. Uh, I'll make a bold prediction. I think he's 44 away from Emmitt Smith. The way he takes care of his body, I think he'll break the record. Like, he's at 31 years old and is showing little signs of regression. I think he has 3
Well,
to
wait a
4
minute.
years.
I'm about to say, where does he stand right now?
He's, I think, 3rd or 4th place. He's 44 touchdowns from breaking Emmitt Smith's all-time record. And I think he can break that.
44 more touchdowns, Alex? Really? That's like, what, 3 more high-end seasons from Derrick Henry,
Even
which I
he
don't
could
know
be
about that.
signed as a goal line running back as big as he is. But the way he takes care of his body, how big he is on it, not saying 2,000 yards, but he can definitely still get in the end zone, and I'm rooting for him. This guy he's a monster.
That's fair. That's fair. Let me see. DWAS with another super chat donation. Thank you so much again for making it rain here at the Purple Rain podcast. DWAS says Harbaugh with the play sheet, though. I know you saw that, Alex, right?
I did. Interesting, though. He shot it down, didn't he, when they asked him about it? He always has it,
He
right?
did. Yeah. He's like, it's the one I always have. It's like, we never see you lift a damn play sheet over your face, ever. Ever. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you have a play sheet in your hand all the time, then I guess I do too. Right.
Yeah.
And I just don't notice it. Maybe it's not a beer in my hand on Sundays when I'm watching the game. Maybe it's actually a play sheet, right? Harbaugh is just so full of it sometimes. But, I think that in this game, he wanted to, and I said this on Friday, right? I feel like the Ravens were going to try to, after, having that blunder against the Patriots where you don't utilize Derrick Henry in the fourth quarter, where you end up losing that game because of it. I knew that they were going to try to overcompensate to try to hit that quota of Derrick Henry touches. Now, I thought it was going to be somewhere in the 20 to 25 carry range. Ended up being 36 carries. And I think a lot of that had to do with John Harbaugh just shutting it down and saying, hey, look, no, we're going to put the ball in number 22's hands and we're just going to live or die by it,
Yeah.
because I'll be damned, and talking as Harbaugh right now, I'll be damned if I don't use my best option 2 weeks in a row, and they have every reason to fire me for not doing so. You know what I mean? So I think that that's kind of where that thought process came from, with Harbaugh trying to look at least more like a leader out there and actually calling the plays and impacting the game instead of just looking like a fan sometimes,
Yeah.
quite frankly.
I think the best part about it, though, was us being the only game and seeing the social media reaction of it all. Because everybody was like, why couldn't you do that last week? And it's not just Ravens fans saying it. I think it was all 31 other teams saying it as well, which was kind of interesting to see. It's like, I don't feel like I'm screaming in just a big open circle with nobody around me. Like, everybody else is hearing this and seeing this. So that was good to see. But now as we go into next week, I expect it to be the same. This guy just had 4 touchdowns and over 200 yards. You better give him the damn ball. 25 carries minimum. If you're down by 7, I don't care. You still give him the ball. Down by 10, you still give him the ball. I don't think we go down by 10, but crazier things have happened.
Yeah, and just kind of sticking on Derrick Henry's performance, like you mentioned, 36 carries, 216 rushing yards. That's 6 yards a carry, and again, 4 touchdowns with a long of a 30-yard rush. He was just, from the first quarter, I don't know if you were watching, because, it was in Green Bay. You were watching at home. You saw the linebackers and the DBs. They wanted no part of Derrick Henry once he got to that second level. No part. Coach posted a video earlier where guys were like diving at his legs way before they needed to. They could have got up closer on him and really absorbed some contact. But I think after a certain point, Alex, they were like, okay, this guy, he's running right through the arm tackles. He's running right through us, man. I'm just going to make a business decision, do my best to dive at his legs, and hopefully that'll trip him up. Somebody can clean up the tackle. That's how they were moving, right? And honestly, that's how the Patriots were moving the week before, which is why it was so infuriating that we did not get him the football. Right. So some people are saying that this is honestly even more of an indictment on John Harbaugh. Seeing this week what Derrick Henry does when you actually stick with him and give him the football, right? And knowing that you could have employed that same game plan down the stretch against the Patriots, and you wouldn't be in a scenario right now where you are fighting for your life still for this playoff hopes against the Steelers in Week 18. Or maybe they would. I don't know. But you get my point. So it's just, I don't know. what are your thoughts on that, Alex? Like John Harbaugh, what are your thoughts on that?
With the call sheet, or just
Well, no,
in
no,
general with Derrick
not
Henry?
necessarily with the call sheet, but in general with Derrick Henry. Like, are you
Yeah.
back on the Harbaugh train? Like, are you comfortable again? You know what I'm saying?
No.
Like, did he save
No.
his job?
Absolutely not. No, 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 no. We're not getting love bombed again. It's not happening.
Talk about
Absolutely
it.
not happening. I can't let that happen. I still think, thanks for the memories, but it is time to go. And, look at this as maybe your last run. I'm not gonna sit here and say we're gonna make the playoffs to win the Super Bowl, but you better treat it like it's your last couple of games coaching as a Baltimore Raven. That's how I feel. And with the whole Derrick Henry thing, it was, I think, 3rd and 5. It was 27-24. We were backed up, I think, in our own side of the field, and we ran it. Tyler Huntley switched out of the play, and we ran it with Henry. I'm like, and he got the first down. It's just like, where was
Yeah,
that last week? Because if you win last week, your life is a lot easier this week. It's
yeah.
just, I don't know if like he has dementia or something. Like, I'm not trying to be funny, but he just forgets. He forgets he has 22 on the sidelines.
Right. It's ridiculous. It's actually baffling. But again, Derrick Henry's performance, again, 36 carries does feel like a little bit of a love bomb from the
It
coaching
does.
staff. Not gonna lie, you gave him 36 carries. He ended up getting 4 touchdowns. So now all is gravy in the castle again. I don't think so. I don't think so. I got to see if because I mean, listen, guys, we're gonna get into, of course, our Steelers preview later in the week, but we are going to foreshadow that matchup in this episode because that's how big it is. That's the magnitude of it. It'll probably take a show and a half to really talk about that game at length.
Yeah.
Um, but this is going to be the last stand for either John Harbaugh or Mike Tomlin. One or the other. I think one or the other, whichever coach loses this game, because it's going to be close. It's probably going to be competitive, right? And it's going to come down to coaching decisions. Can you reel your guys in on the road, John Harbaugh? Mike Tomlin, can you get your guys to bounce back after just shitting it against the Browns and scoring no touchdowns? If the answer is no for either one of you guys, it's probably time to part ways with the team. And I've been hearing rumors. From Steelers aficionados and people who really follow that team and have the heartbeat of that team that it's on the table that Mike Tomlin would just step down as the Steelers head coach if the Steelers were to lose this game. It would be insane. I think that he would find a job almost immediately, as would John Harbaugh adversely. But that's where we're at with this one. So again, the love bomb is cool, Harbaugh, but you still got to prove to me that Mike Tomlin can't just outcoach you on command. You know what I mean? Because it seems like he can do that from time to time. So again, of course, we'll get into the Steelers matchup a little bit more. But what you got for me, Alex?
I'll tell you this, Tila's comment it's crazy to say, like, and to think about, but she's really right. She says all the AFC North coaches need to go. And that's 100% true. If you go down each team, each of them have, I think, declined in their own different ways. I think every team should go in a different direction. Browns,
Mm.
Bengals, Steelers, and the Ravens. So that's just crazy to think about. But talking about Tomlin, I feel like he has more excuses, I'd say, than Harbaugh. He could say, "Oh, DK Metcalf, now Darnell Washington." Uh,
Yeah.
I can definitely see them wanting him to stay, and I could see if he steps down. I think that's the only way. 'Cause I don't think Steelers would fire him. I think I'd be on his own
Yeah.
terms. Contrary to the
I
other
think
way,
so too.
I don't think Harbaugh would step down. I think we would have to fire him for him to go.
Yeah. And again, shout out to Tila, another one of our members here in the chat, part of the hashtag Rain Gang family. Good evening to you. Okay. So, I like this. I like this comment from Shelly too.
Mm,
Shelly says Harbs only coaches when his seat gets
mm,
warmer. That's a good one. That's a
that's a
good
great
one. He'd be
point.
hella comfortable. He'd be real comfortable until the rubber really starts to meet the road when it comes to the national media picking up the story of, does John Harbaugh and the Ravens, do they need to part ways? And then all of a sudden you see him with the play sheet over the mouth, on the sideline. And then you see him, you know what I mean, giving the ball to Derrick Henry 36 times, right? Like, when have you shot that shot? I mean, that was a desperation move. 36 carries for Derrick Henry. He said, I'm not even going to leave a shadow of a doubt. If we lose this game, it's not going to be because I didn't run number 22. Y'all aren't going to be able to say that. It's going to be because of a couple of key turnovers that guys made on the field. He was going to basically leave it all on the players, is basically what he was saying. So, Shelly, but you're absolutely right there. Absolutely right. Definitely clock that. Definitely clock that. Now, listen. Alex, while we're talking about offensive performances, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about our guy Tyler Huntley. Let's talk about our guy Tyler Huntley, who we learned would go in this game. By the way, they didn't announce that not Harbaugh, Lamar would be out until like right before the game. It was literally like maybe like an hour or two before the game. Did that annoy you? It annoyed me.
Um, Not really. I think he was planning to play. I saw the wire clip of them in the locker room celebrating.
Yeah,
I mean, outside of the pass, he had on his undershirts, that he usually wears when he plays. I think he was preparing to play, and maybe the Ravens just saw something they didn't like, and said no, you're not going to play. But it didn't upset me too bad. I mean, it definitely got my hopes up at a point, but I think the right decision was made for him to sit. But I guess it kept the Packers. I mean, off balance. I'm not too sure, but whatever quarterback was playing, they were going to lose if we were going to run Derrick Henry like that.
yeah. Honestly, especially when you have some of those boneheaded turnovers, like the one where it's the bad snap and it hits Malik Willis in the face, and then
Yeah,
like you said, Mike Green jumps on it. You got to have some things bounce your way. Marlon Humphrey with another gift wrapped interception.
we have to
Things like
talk about
that.
him.
We're gonna talk about the defense. We're gonna talk about the defense, but right now we're sticking to the offense right in this game. So Tyler Huntley again. In this one, let me see. I just lost the stats. There we go. And by the way, guys, I'm a little bit under the weather, so bear with me in my voice in this one. As I said earlier on sudden reactions, but I'm gonna try to power through. Tyler Huntley, 16 for 20, 107 yards passing, one touchdown, no interceptions, got sacked one time, and had a passer rating of 105.6. Now, get this, Alex. Here's what doesn't show up in the regular stat sheet that I think that a lot of people need to pay attention to, and that I think that Lamar Jackson needs to take notes on. This may be a little bit of a hot one, but Tyler Huntley, after week 17, pending the game tonight with Matthew Stafford and who's quarterback in the Falcons again?
Kirk Cousins.
Is it Kirk? Okay, it's still Kirk. Yeah. Pending that game tonight, out of all the other games in week 17, Tyler Huntley, out of all the quarterbacks, got the ball out the third quickest out of any quarterback in the league, right? Only behind old man Aaron Rodgers and old man Phillip Rivers.
Mm.
Tyler Huntley was so decisive with the football. Yes, I get he only threw for 107 yards. I get he was only 16 for 20, right? Only one passing touchdown. Of course, no interceptions, but he was so decisive with the football, passing and running. Because you look at his rushing stats, 8 carries for 60 yards. This was a very, very efficient performance from Tyler Huntley. I was proud of him for what he did. I want to talk about it more, but I want to toss it to you. What were your thoughts on Tyler Huntley's performance, man?
Yeah, mistake-free football. I think you had to just take what they gave you, and with this line, I think they know Lamar can get out of some of the traffic jams they put him in. Huntley, on the other hand, if he rolls out, could get hit, could fumble, could throw a bad pass, not as accurate as Lamar. It was just smart. I think they just said if their first option is in there, look down, tuck the ball, run, or just roll out, throw it away. And I thought that's what he did. Mistake-free football. I mean, it's how you win playoff games. Um, don't try to be the superhero, especially when you have that guy behind you, Derrick Henry. We are first-hand witnesses of it, first-hand victims of the Derrick Henry in the playoff massacre,
Yeah.
unfortunately. So, I mean, I wasn't mad at it. I wasn't, I think nervous when he had the ball in his hands. I was nervous when he was throwing it because he was making good decisions all night. I really can't name one bad throw, I'd say. I don't think he threw one bad pass in double, triple coverage that wasn't going to be caught. Um, Spread the ball around as well. So I mean, for him, it's crazy. Like he never looked this good with the Dolphins when he was a starter there for 3, 4, 5 weeks. With us, he's come in on the fly. He's looked pretty damn good. Obviously, not saying for him to be the starter, but it makes you wonder when he was there with the Browns. I know we had signed Cooper Rush. They had 4 quarterbacks. You could have brought him in instead of throwing Devin Leary out there
Yeah.
as your third quarterback. That wouldn't have hurt anybody. Definitely wouldn't have hurt me. So it just makes you wonder. But Ashley says, I think it's a valid question to ask why the offense runs much smoother with Huntley. Why does the O-line play better and everyone is on point? Second part, I don't know. I think for the first part, they kind of tell him to get it out. Look at your first read and just get the ball out. Um, don't try to be Superman because it won't go well.
Yeah. And you see, I see Louisville Cardinals Ravens in the chat says Sutton, it doesn't take long to run a 5 yard route. Come on. And that's kind of my point here. I mean, the offense does, and that answers Ashley's question. That's why the offense is more efficient with Tyler Huntley, because like you said, Alex, they're coaching him. They're telling him, hey, look, ball out. We're going to be running these shallow crossers, these comeback routes, these things where you can hit your 3-step drop, make your first or second read. If that's not there, literally just tuck it down and run. Don't try to scramble out of the pocket like Lamar Jackson tends to do and, lollygag around a little bit, end up taking a sack. By the way, that sack that Josh Allen took yesterday against the Eagles was absolutely nuts. Quick sidebar. We'll get into that later, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho, Tyler Huntley was very, very decisive with the football, and they drew up a game plan that was perfect for him, again, to get the ball out of his hands. And that, maybe paired with the run game, is what this Ravens team needs right now. And that's why we're going to get into the question of, would you rather start a 60% healthy Lamar Jackson, who, when he's in the game, the offensive coordinators and John Harbaugh, they have no idea what to call. It's like, okay, do we give Derrick Henry the ball, or do we let Lamar be Lamar? Like, it's like a catch-22 on when to use number 22. I've been saying this all season long. And you saw what happens when you have a game where you start Tyler Huntley. The game plan is clear. We're not going to put the ball in the air that much. 20 times a healthy amount of attempts for Tyler Huntley, right? Only 107 yards. I don't think he threw a pass over 10 yards down the field, but it didn't matter, though. Why? Because he made the right plays that kept the offense on the field, right? And it shielded the defense. Again, we're going to get to the defense. Because it did seem like Malik Willis and that Packers offense was walking all up and down the field on us. But us possessing the ball for 40 minutes to their 19 minutes, that made all the difference, right? And like that's how this offense is maybe supposed to run. Lean on Derrick Henry, and when you do need to drop back and throw, short underneath stuff. You don't need to try to hit a home run. Todd and Lamar are famous for trying to hit the home runs, right?
Yeah.
But I think Todd with Tyler Huntley, he's like, okay, let's take the safe underneath stuff. We're gonna feed Derrick Henry, run the offense through him. We're gonna stay on the field, have sustained drives. We just don't need you to make any mistakes, Tyler. That's exactly what Tyler Huntley did. Again, super duper proud of him. But I think that answers the question, actually, like why the offense runs so much smoother with Huntley, because they just dumb it down. They dumb it down. With Lamar in, you have all these long developing routes, 10, 15 yards down the field. The offensive line isn't good enough for that, right? And when we had those same sort of plays drawn up last year for Lamar was able to get out of the pocket, extend plays, and use his athleticism to, again, extend plays and get the ball, push the ball downfield. He can't do that this year. The O-line's not good, and he's not healthy. So maybe a Tyler Huntley, in simplifying the game plan, is exactly what this Ravens team needs right now, at least until Lamar Jackson gets healthy, right? By the way, 110 people watching live right now. Shout out to all you guys for coming through. This is the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. Again, I'm your host, Sutton Def. This is my co-host, Simply AS10. Make sure you guys leave a like on this video. Subscribe to the channel as well. If you're watching on X, aka Twitter, whatever you call it in 2025, make sure you give us a follow on there as well. Okay. So, again, Tyler Huntley played really well. Again, I think that the most... And just, again, talking about his decisiveness, that's what I love the most. Again, top 3 quarterbacks this week and getting the ball out quickly. Again, only behind Aaron Rodgers and Phillip Rivers. Love to see that. When he ran, he tucked it, and he didn't think twice about it. What did you think about his rushing performance?
He slid, didn't jump, dived and had the ball in crazy areas. We did the simple things right. Even on the 4th and inches, the tush push, they jumped off sides. How many times has that been us this year with false starts? Last week it was 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, 4th and 3, and Andrews false start. Now it's 4th and 8 or 3rd and 8, whatever it was. It's just stuff like that you're doing correct. And I don't think it's crazy for fans to be asking for us to have that, fixed up before week 17, going into the final game of the year. That should be done, at least early season, but it's not. But outside of that, it was a breath of fresh air. We'll get into the whole, Lamar Huntley thing. I know where I stand on that, but it just didn't look like the 2024, 25, or 2025 Ravens I've been watching on the year. It was just a different team offensively. I didn't see number 77, doing crazy things. I saw him blocking people in the run game, and it was nice. It was very nice. It was a pleasant surprise, and at a point, it was nice to sit back, kick your feet up for the first time in a while as a Ravens fan and know we won a game comfortably. Obviously, the Bengals game, but this one was a little bit different, I think. The Packers, with who they are, with their record, playoff team in Green Bay, a little bit different than going to Cincinnati, with all due respect.
Yeah, for sure. Tila M in the chat says, "New teeth, who this?" Yeah, Tyler Huntley and those teeth, man. He's got a nice set of teeth. I'm not gonna lie to you. Very nice set of teeth. D-Wiz, and it
Show
says
him
Tooth
off.
Huntley.
Show him off.
Shout out to D-Wiz, man. Another one of our members here of the Rain Gang family. But again, man, I think that the broader point here that I was making earlier, Alex, is that I hope Lamar Jackson, if he does come back and play, starting next week against the Steelers, take some notes from that Tyler Huntley performance, right? Take what the defense gives you. You know what I'm saying? Like if there's underneath guys, like get your guys involved underneath. Not everything has to be a home run play. Not everything has to be you being, a superhero. If you need to tuck it down and run, just tuck it down and run. Be decisive about it. I
Yeah.
understand he's dealing with multiple of the I words. He's hurt, he's dealing with a back now, and he's of course he's got the hamstring and the ankle and the knee and the toe and everything. You know what I mean? But if he can manage, right? If he's healthy enough to play, nobody's gonna give a damn about the I words. So it's like you know, you just got to take what the defense gives you. If Lamar goes out there and plays, you got to take what the defense gives you.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I think one guy who I like the way he played, I know he only had 3 catches, was Isaiah Likely. They got him the ball, obviously, 3 or 4 yard passes, but his jack, I want to say he got 2 of them were first downs, and that was good to see from him. This guy with the ball in his hands, I like what he can do, and he will most likely get you a first down more times than not. Just, when you get the ball in your guys' playmakers' hands, that's big. And I think I saw a really good. Void brought it up. Watching Lamar makes me think he has little faith in his teammates. He tries to make Superman plays a lot. I do think there's some validity to that. I don't know what guys he does. I mean, I know guys he doesn't trust. It feels like I think his trust with Bateman is fried. I'll tell you that. Obviously, the targets aren't there. Trust him last year in some of the situations. He says he has the faith in Andrews, but I don't know. It's hard to have faith in him after seeing what he's done the past couple of weeks and the season
Yeah,
and last season. It's hard to have faith. I do think he has trust in Likely, but just Likely was not put in the situations I think to succeed in points this year. But so that's why I think Zay's getting all these targets as well. Besides them being drawn up, if he's one guy he's going to throw to, it's going to be Zay because he knows he'll catch him more times than not, and hopefully get some yak.
yeah, yeah. Um, let me see. Okay, let's actually go through the receivers' performances really quick in this one. Again, not a huge day passing the ball. Of course, the
Yeah,
Ravens were just running all over the Packers all night long. Zay Flowers finished the game 4 catches for 30 yards and a touchdown. Which, by the way, that touchdown that he got, when he got that, and they didn't even like really review it, and it was just like a touchdown. I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, again, somebody explained to me like I'm 5 years old how Isaiah Likely did not score that touchdown against the Steelers a couple of weeks ago because, I
yeah,
mean, Zay catches that ball along the boundary, right? Barely gets 2 feet in and like goes out of bounds and then loses the football upon contact with the ground. You know what I'm saying? It's like if that's a touchdown, then how is likely it's not a touchdown? I mean, because you get 2 feet down already in the end zone and then you make a football move. Ace, go. No, now's not the time. My dog's trying to get in there. He's trying to get in the shot. Go. But yeah, what did you think about that touchdown?
I saw it. I was celebrating. I was watching it at a sports bar, and then I didn't really see. I'm like, why are we not kicking the extra point yet? And I thought, 2 feet extending across the goal line, touchdown. And then once again, I'm like, what's a touchdown? I just find myself every week not knowing what a touchdown is. If you double tap the foot, that's 2 feet. If you get the butt cheek in, that's 2 feet. If you roll over somebody, that's good. It's questionable. It really is. And I think we need to like the books. What is an NFL touchdown for dummies? I will buy it. I will read every page of it because it
Yeah,
would be a
I
bestseller.
would too. I would too, honestly. Let me see. So, Sonny keeps telling you to put him on camera. I can't do that. I can't do that. He's been on camera enough too. Tila also says, "Why do we say I word?" We say I word because it's a little bit of superstition thing that we've had going on this podcast here, where we don't like to actually say the whole word. It's not really anything too serious. It's just tradition, little PRP lore there for you.
Yeah,
But
2021. Mm,
yeah.
mm.
So again, going through the rest of these receiving numbers, Mark Andrews finished the game 4 for 28. Isaiah Likely 3 catches for 27. Rasheen Ali 2 catches for 8. Keaton Mitchell 2 for 7. Rashad Bateman 1 for 7. D Hop and Kohler go catchless in this one. So again, not a big day from the receivers as it really didn't need to be. Keep it on the ground. We put up 41 points. Keep it simple, right? Especially you have your backup quarterback in. Again, no slight to Snoop Huntley, but there's a reason why they make the offense as simple as it is when he's in the game. And he's mastered that. with the Ravens, which is why, again, Alex, I mean, to your point, I don't know why Cooper Rush was even ever really a real option. You know what I mean? I don't know why you would ever even part ways with a Tyler Huntley. Make sure that he's around the building because he provides you with the most continuity. And it's crazy that it took until what, week 7-ish or whatever that was to realize that. It
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it took the end of the Rams game to throw him in there and bench Cooper Rush after the Texans game and then the Rams. I don't get it. I don't get why we ever signed him. Could be a good guy, but just doesn't fit our offense. Would have rather, like I said, signed Huntley when he got cut from the Browns originally when they were carrying, what was it? Um, they had Pickett, Flacco, Huntley, Shador, and Gabriel. They had 5 quarterbacks, and you knew Gabriel and Sanders were going to make it, and Flacco was probably going to make it. Maybe Pickett as well. Huntley was always the odd man out there. So why you couldn't have just, got him then? Would have done us a world of good, but I'm not gonna cry over spoiled milk because it's done. It's done, but it's
Yeah.
just small stuff like that that hurts us in the long run. EDC looking at you because you could use that money and resources somewhere else. Kwame says that we knew he was trash in the preseason. Yeah, his best I think drive was just throwing to Tez Walker against the Cowboys. The first drive,
Yeah.
just Tez Walker, Tez Walker, Tez Walker, Tez Walker, and that was it. Outside of that, I think he threw a pick his first attempt against the Colts, and it just wasn't pretty the rest of the way.
At all. At all. Okay, getting over to what the Packers did. I'll run through their
Yeah,
stats really quick here. Packers, Malik Willis, 18 for 21, 288 yards, a touchdown. He also had 2 rushing touchdowns as well on 9 carries for 60 yards. He was really carving up this Ravens defense. Of course, Clayton Tune comes in, throws 4 passes, throws 1 pick, takes 1 sack, has no impact at all on the game. Let me see. Their rushing, I mean, we really shut them down in the rushing department. I mean, Josh Jacobs ends the game with more carries than yards. He had 4 carries, 3 yards, zero 0.8 per carry. Shut him down, right? Couldn't do anything. Christian Watson in this game, who we did predict to have a good game before this one. He had 5 catches for 113 yards and a touchdown. Romeo Doubs had 3 catches for 62. Jaden Reed had 4 for 41. Melton 1 for 34. Matthew Golden 1 for 12. Brooks 1 for 11, and then a bunch of other 1 for 8s, 1 for 8s, 1 for 7s. So really not too much doing outside of a few players on this Packers offense, right? And then once it really got out of hand, there was really no resistance after that. But I guess this is a good time, Alex, to start talking about the defense and how you felt about the defensive performance against the Packers, man. What did you think about the defense?
Where do you want to start? Honestly, because
Let's
it's
start.
not
Let's
the
start with
front.
the. Let's start with the DBs. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't the front that was playing bad. It wasn't, I thought they were getting some pressure, weren't able to finish, and unfortunately that allowed Malik Willis to have some good passes. But the DBs, man, um, Wiggins and Marlon. Wiggins had a tough day. Arguably, I want to say maybe his worst game of his career. Maybe. I'm trying to think if there's any other bad ones. He got beat, obviously in his career last year, but not to the extent of what was it, Saturday? It was a good amount of plays. But it felt like
Yeah.
he was soft in coverage, and I got to look back at the coordinator for that because it's been a recurring theme all year, something we've talked about at length.
I just want to know, like, do they not teach these guys to like get hands on these receivers and not give them free releases? Because it seems like it's either Nate Wiggins is playing 10 yards off of his guy, or he's playing up on his guy, and his guy literally just gets outside leverage and stacks him, and the quarterback throws a rainbow ball and it lands right in his pocket. We've seen it happen multiple times. We saw it happen a couple of weeks ago against DK Metcalf. It's like, bro, if you're gonna stick up on him, get hands. If you're gonna play 10 yards out, I mean, you better be quick to the punch, right? And don't let him run right by you. I just sometimes I don't get it with Nate Wiggins. He is so far, I would say, just a scotch overrated, just a little bit overrated, not by much. I still love what he's done in its totality, right? But I still see some glaring mistakes, right? And I think it can be coached out of him. Maybe he needs to put on a little bit more weight and get a little bit more physical. I don't really see the speed benefiting him that much anyway right now, to be honest with you. Um, but yeah, man, I mean, him and then Marlon Humphrey getting toasted. And, outside of the pick, Marlon Humphrey was getting toasted. Um, yeah, just concerning stuff from the DBs overall, right? Kyle Hamilton had a bad miss early in the game, which led to an easy touchdown up the seam from Malik Willis to Christian Watson. That was kind of weird to see. But I think that also falls on coaching too. And John Harbaugh actually called that out today. He said, I think it was a bad play call against that play, that offense. So, but yeah, the defense was just, it was okay. It was okay. It needs to be better though.
Yeah, and I'm just confused, like why? Because last year I saw Nate Wiggins. I think he pressed up when T Higgins was going stride for stride with Jamar Chase in that Thursday night game. He was the only corner that was locking down Chase when he put up like 300 yards on us and 3 touchdowns. I just want to know, what do we switch? Because you don't. This doesn't happen overnight. This isn't Brandon Stevens. I trust Nate Wiggins. I know he's a damn good corner. It's just when I see him play, he's like 10 yards away from the receiver. So obviously they're gonna get 5 yards every play, and he has to go out and tackle him. It's falling back on coaching. Um, I don't know what's going on with Zach Orr. Maybe I should fire up the all 22 and just watch every single passing play. I probably would learn a lot from that. But it seems like every time with him, he's about 3 yards away, and I just I can't put too much blame on him because it's every corner. It's not just him. You know what I mean? Oh, your mic's muted.
There we go. There's also a good point here in the chat that somebody made. They said that who was it? Who was it? Who was it? They said that they would be a lot better, right? The DBs, if the pass rush was better. And
It's true.
I totally agree with that too. The pass rush is one of the main reasons why these guys have to be back there and defend for so long.
Yeah.
And the likes of Mike Green, too small, right? Kyle Van Noy, too old. Draymond Jones, too inconsistent. Tavius Robinson, same thing, too inconsistent. Nobody is really, really forcing the issue and getting after the quarterback and making them feel uncomfortable. This is like the umpteenth week in a row now where we've had guys just sit back there, pat the ball, and go wherever they want with it. Drake May did it to us last week. Malik Willis, of all quarterbacks, did it to us this week before he went down, with that shoulder, I believe it was. So yeah, I mean, I totally agree with that. The pass rush is something that has to be addressed this offseason. That again, that's an offseason thing. I think that you have to buy a pass rusher. I don't really trust the Ravens to go out and draft one properly. Who are you on the phone with, Alex?
I'm on the phone with the Raiders. I'm
Mm,
calling for Max Crosby. He's not happy there. He can say he wants to die a Raider. Every time I see clips of this guy, he is talking good about the Ravens. We were like 1-5. He was talking about us, saying we can still make the playoffs. You, that's a
that dude's a
guy.
Raven.
That's a guy you send the house for. Um, like
Yeah,
that is a guy like we. I know you say all the time that Tony Romo circles on third and long. Oh, Jim, watch out
yeah,
for Crosby here. That's the
yeah.
guy. And I know they're going to be asking
That's
for
the
a
guy.
lot, but that guy doesn't want to be there. The Raiders right now aren't respecting him. They shut him down, saying he's hurt, needs surgery. What's he do the next day? Posting videos of him playing basketball. Come on now.
Wait, who?
Crosby,
Oh, Crosby. Oh,
the
he
day
did.
after he got shut
Yeah, I
down.
mean, he's getting back after the Raiders because he was pissed about that. I mean, he's a true competitor. He is a real deal dog, of a football player. He wants to play regardless of whether or not they're playing for playoff hopes or whatever. I know the Raiders want that number one pick, and I think that they got it now, right? But it's just he's a competitor, man, and I wouldn't be surprised if they sat him down, and say, hey, look, Max, look, we got you, Brock Bowers, Ashton Genty, right? We can make something work. Quite literally, all we need is a quarterback, right? That's it.
I think it's more than that there, unfortunately. I think so. They got Geno Smith thinking he would at least maybe win him a couple of games. Flirted around 500 with Pete Carroll. Didn't work. They've gone through this quarterback carousel. They got Jimmy Garoppolo. It's more than just coaching. It's somewhere up high. They are just getting it wrong. And if I'm Max Crosby, I'm looking at their track record. What makes you think it's going to change? Look at the division you're in. You know, the Chargers now going to make the playoffs. The Broncos are going to be the 1 seed. The Chargers announced they're going to sit their starters. So you have the 1 seed in your division, another playoff team. Then you have the Chiefs coming back next year, who, as bad as they were or as mid as they are, you really can't count them out with, to me, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. And who knows what's going on there, but I still think they're going to bounce back. That leaves you sole possession of the bottom. Are you really going to be making the playoffs anytime soon, Max? You're not.
Yeah,
Like as Modi says, send his ass this way. If it's the Ravens MO, I agree.
it does. I totally agree. He's again, he's a guy who plays like a Raven. He's a guy who I think could really get that defense and take them to the next level mentally. You know what I mean? It feels like there's no real leaders on this defense. I mean, you could probably say the best player on the defense is Kyle Hamilton. Not much of a vocal guy. You know, you got Roquan Smith, who's the vocal guy, but then when it comes to on the field play, he's not really making a bunch of impact plays, right? You know what I mean? He's not really making that impact that you would want your number one vocal leader to make. So you bring in a Max Crosby, I think that really flips all of that around. You know, you have a culture of defense that is tough, right? It's not pillow like soft, Charmin like soft, like we've seen so often, and we can actually get after the quarterback. That would be important. That would be huge. Thank you for your super chat donation, Asmodeus. Again, making it rain here on this episode of Purple Rain Podcast. Somebody said Bateman and 2 first-round picks for Max Crosby.
That would hurt my heart as a huge Bateman fan, but I'm taking that 7 days out of 7.
Yeah.
I think you get a guy like him. Listen, I'm not going to compare him to anybody, but it's hopefully our version of Terrell Suggs, a guy who defenses fear. I think the last time they feared somebody was him and Doomerville together. But it's just like when you have Crosby, it makes whoever's across from him that much better. And you really can't put a price on that. And you look at obviously DJ Watt, Myles Garrett. Like, we need our guy. You know, we can't go picking around for a guy maybe 5-6 sacks. No, we need a 15-sack guy right there.
Yeah.
Like, and you know,
proven.
He doesn't want to leave, but if the Raiders keep doing this to him, and they've started to do it now, like, he's gonna get upset. He's gonna want to go. And if the right team calls, and like I said, look up, Max Crosby Ravens on his podcast. He talks about us an awful lot, and it's always good things. Even when we were looking pretty poor, he had our back. Food for thought.
Yeah, absolutely. But overall, a great win against the Green Bay Packers, a much needed victory. Excuse me. But the Ravens weren't all the way out of the woods after that Saturday night game. They still needed the Browns to knock off the Steelers, which to me, Alex, it felt far-fetched, right? It felt like the Steelers were going to go in there, take care of business. Again, even though it was on the road in Cleveland, it felt like they were going to go ahead and get that one done. However, what we saw was that without DK Metcalf, this offense is nothing. Aaron Rodgers has nobody to throw to. Let me see, guys. There's 5 piece in the chat making it rain here. It says, guys, Alex, you are official, but Sutton, you need to play me in Madden, bro. Your belief in the way the NFL works is sad. # still sleep. I quit playing Madden years ago, bro.
What was last Madden you got?
Madden game in years. Last Madden I got probably, I think I bought 24, but I only played it like a couple times, The last Madden I really like locked in on was probably like Madden 2020 or 21, something like that. Maybe around the pandemic when I had more time.
I haven't played Madden forever.
Yeah, bro. But I will say this, PG Padlock, I don't think that Madden skills necessarily translate into real football. It's a difference. There's a difference for sure. Let me see. Okay, but thank you again for your super chat donation, brother. Appreciate that. But listen, they had a good win. They needed the Browns to win. The Browns did win. What did you think about that overall performance by the Browns? Because I'm not going to lie to you, I fell asleep on it in the waning minutes of that game, and I woke up like my heart pounding. I was like, did they win? Because I knew it was close. What did you think about that game?
I'll be honest, I went into it expecting the worst. I didn't think they had a chance. I posted the perfect timing song on Twitter, I think, Saturday night, as a joke, and give me one more day. I didn't believe it. I didn't believe 1 second of it. I think seeing Njoku was out and then I know Fannin was questionable, that's what scared me. But seeing when Fannin was active, I got my hopes up. Shador and Fannin is, that's his guy, and I think that's be a good duo. Not saying great, but it'll be a good duo next year that I'll keep my eyes on fantasy-wise. I'll definitely pick up Fannin next year if good. Game turns on, Fannin touchdown. Gets behind the defense, catches it, falls, goes in. I'm like, all right, cool. Go up 10-0. I'm like, all right, well, this is the Steelers, Aaron Rodgers. As time goes on, I'm like, 10-3. 10-6. 10-6.
Yeah.
10-6. And we're in the fourth quarter now. I'm like, all right, hold up. And Myles Garrett still hasn't gotten a sack. I'm like, all right, that sack's going to be coming. Like, I know they're due a turnover. Didn't come.
Yeah.
They start driving down the field. I'm like, all right, here we go. And they just made stupid mistakes after stupid mistakes. It's like they didn't want to win. And then it was the first time they stopped him on fourth down. Aaron Rodgers throws the ball in the dirt, like behind the line of scrimmage. Like, oh, one more stop. They go up 13-6. Like, they need a touchdown here. And they just tested Denzel Ward 3 straight times in a row. 3 times in a row.
That was arrogance by Aaron Rodgers, by the way. Pure arrogance.
Oh, Steve-O says Schlesinger is a dog. Schlesinger, yes, he was playing hurt. He just defensive rookie of the year. Yeah. Put a bow on it. That's his. He's a fantastic player.
I thought they would have shut him down after halftime. The way that he was limping around in the second quarter, I was thinking to myself, like, yeah, this guy isn't coming back. But I mean, he stuck it out. I guess they drugged him up. Whatever they did, it worked because he was able to go. Over 140 people watching live. Appreciate y'all for coming through. Shout out to y'all. Make sure y'all like this video. Also, subscribe if you are new. We just got a new subscriber from Patrick Grant. Shout out to you, Patrick. We saw that. You know what I think though? I knew the Browns were gonna win that game, not before the game started, because obviously I picked the Steelers to win. But when I saw Shador make that play, I think it was the first Browns drive, first or second, where he's like scrambling around in the pocket. You know what I mean? And like there's a guy who's pretty much has him dead to rights with a sack, but he like hits that signature Lamar Jackson kind of like hop back move, you know what I mean? And the guy just falls into the dirt. I was like, oh yeah, Shador is on one today. He's on one today. He's going to bring home this W. Sure enough, he throws a touchdown pass, which was a bad miss by who I think it was Kyle Duggar, you know, the hero fan and touchdown. Kyle Duggar should have definitely gotten there. He got flipped around like right before the ball got there. You never needs that to happen. But outside of that, Shador, you know, didn't have the greatest of games, but he made plays when he needed to keep the Browns on the field, to get them the points that they needed. And I was very, very appreciative of them bringing home the W. So I see our guy, Mr. Loop, Steve Loop is in the chat. What's going on, Mr.
Loop? What's going on? How you feeling? We're feeling good. How are you feeling? First and foremost.
Yeah. Because if we're feeling good, I know you got to be feeling great, man. I know you got to be feeling great. Okay. So, Alex, we're already almost an hour in. We got to get to this Steelers matchup coming up, right? The Steelers matchup. Yeah. We're not going to fully deep dive, into the preview today. We're going to save that for later in the week. But we just kind of got to touch on a little bit. And the thing that we're going to start with is the status of Lamar Jackson, because this was something that, we've been kind of crossing our fingers for. I know, Alex, you said that you thought that Lamar Jackson might play. That's why they waited all the way to the end to say that he was going to be out. But with this now, we got some news today from John Harbaugh. He spoke today at a presser, said a few things. He said that Lamar Jackson, his status for Sunday against the Steelers on Sunday Night Football, 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time in Acrisure Stadium, Pennsylvania, is to be determined.
Yeah, well, it's to be determined. Still he's coming off a very serious injury, and he's working at it. Saw him in here today working at it. So I think we'll know a lot more on Wednesday.
Coach, have you had a chance to be with the
See, that's good. A
lot more.
The fact that he says that, he saw him in there working on it today, and like there's been progression, that leads me to believe Lamar Jackson probably will play. Now the question is, how healthy is Lamar Jackson going to be? Are we going to get a Lamar Jackson who can effortlessly scramble around, run around when need be to pick up first downs? Because that is exactly what makes him so dangerous, right? And that's what you kind of saw with Tyler Huntley. Again, 8 carries for 60 yards is 8 carries for 60 yards on the ground for Tyler Huntley. And the way that he was, again, pulling that football down, being decisive, it's almost as if right now, until Lamar Jackson is healthy, the better option, or you can make the argument at least, that the better option could be Tyler Huntley. Now, listen, this is what John Harbaugh had to say when a reporter asked him about whether or not Lamar Jackson or Huntley would be preferred to be the starting quarterback against the Steelers.
Confidence in Tyler is a real big positive, a real plus, but it doesn't factor into whether Lamar plays. If Lamar's ready to go, he's playing. That's it, for sure.
John, through all the
Okay, so you hear that, Alex?
Plays. If Lamar's ready to go, he's playing.
He was a little sassy ending that quote off. Right there, that for sure was a little sassy.
Confidence in Tyler is a real big positive, a real plus, but it doesn't factor.
There we go. Man, I think he plays. I don't think he's going to miss this game. Number 8 will be out there, and he'll win it for us, and we'll win the AFC North. I mean, spoiler alert, there's my prediction, but we're going in there.
I
We're
I think Lamar plays too, but are you saying that you would prefer Lamar
oh,
Jackson to
100%.
play?
100%.
Okay.
100%. He got us out of this hole. 100%. He got us out, and he's gonna get us over the line. Huntley helped. Don't get me wrong, but I want my 2-time MVP. I want the guy on the field that defense is fear, and when push comes to shove, if we need to play, he'll make it. Get it out there for me.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, and here is why. Lamar, I think being on that sideline on Saturday night and seeing how well Tyler Huntley was running this offense without him, I think it might have sparked something in Lamar. So now you're going to get, you know what, 2 weeks of rest for Lamar that he's basically getting to go and play this Steelers game. I think that will help greatly, tremendously with things going on with his legs. Because you got to remember, he went out in the first quarter of that game. He didn't play nearly the whole game, not even a whole half, right? So he didn't really have too much wear and tear. It was really just the back thing. And the fact that John Harbaugh is saying that it's progressing to the point where he was pretty much a game time decision on Saturday, that tells me that he's probably on track to playing this Sunday night against the Steelers. Now, again, question is, how healthy will he be? Will he be able to be athletic enough to manipulate and navigate around the pocket and even scramble out of the pocket and get out of tough situations and turn, second and eights to first and tens with his legs? We need that sort of stuff. Huntley was able to provide it to the tune of 8 carries for 60 yards. Lamar, we're going to need that from you.
Yeah.
We're going to need that from you too. And at the very least, if you're not going to be able to do that, we need you to be able to get the ball out very quickly, right? We don't need you, dancing around in the pocket, because I don't know. I want a healthy Lamar to do the regular Lamar stuff. I want him to kind of, again, take notes from Tyler Huntley in a way and say, okay, I'm going to just take exactly what the defense gives me. I don't care if I finish. Again, like in the Bengals game, what did he throw the ball? 12 times? Something like that?
Yeah.
If that's what it takes, then that's what it takes. Just run the damn football, right? And most importantly, keep the offense on the field. I want Lamar Jackson to start as well. However, I need him to go into this game with the mindset of, I don't have to be this MVP hero on every play. Maybe that's the curse of MVP quarterbacks, right? Maybe you're most valuable for a reason. Maybe this is what Josh Allen is feeling from time to time. Maybe it's what Patrick Mahomes felt all season. But that type of play leads you to press. And when you press, you end up making mistakes or you end up getting hurt. Josh Allen made mistakes when he pressed. Mahomes made mistakes when he pressed. And he also got hurt when he pressed as well. Same thing with Lamar Jackson. So I need him to just kind of mentally dial it back a little bit, and you don't have to be the hero. Take what the defense gives you. You're not fully healthy, right? So just do what you need to do. Keep the offense on the field.
Can't argue with that, man. I mean, just keep it simple. Don't be a hero, and you let things work out. I think kind of like how we beat the Bills in last year. Derrick Henry had a big game, but we were just taking what the defense gave us. Was not a big plays in the air, just moving the ball down, smart, methodical football, and just do what you can to fight and survive.
That's really all it boils down to. And guess what? I mean, this Steelers team is super handicapped. Like you mentioned earlier, Darnell Washington, there's no more him, broke his arm. DK Metcalf, still suspended. No Calvin Austin. No TJ Watt, right? No TJ Watt. So where are they going with the football? I mean, of course, you've still got the likes of Pat Fryermuth, right? Jonnu Smith, right? Those guys they play pretty well. And I assume they'll probably utilize them a lot against us. But where else is Aaron Rodgers really going with the football? That's my thing.
Marquez Valdez-Scantling and Adam Thielen in the Big 25. We are not scared. I saw Mr. Loop say, "Don't give Aaron Rodgers the ball back in 2 minutes." He can have it. We'll be up by 10 points. I was winning by double digits. I'm very confident in this team. The way they looked yesterday, this is a team with zero camaraderie. I saw Patrick Queen retweet a tweet yesterday. He recently he took it off his feed, but it was Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. They don't have it right now. Not saying we have the best of it, but I feel like we are still, a team, and I think they're just falling apart. I think the offense is split from the defense, and they know it. I just think we're opposite. So I'm just feeling good. I'm probably set up to let my heart get hurt, but no, I think we're gonna be good.
Yeah, I hope so, man. I hope so. I don't think my heart can take another heartbreak. You know what I'm saying? I just don't know if I can take one. Because this season has been so up and down, Alex. Like if
It
you really
has.
wanted to just put us out of our misery, we could have lost on Saturday. We could have just been looking forward to mock drafts and things like that, right? But we go from all of a sudden we go from having a 7% chance to making the playoffs going into this week to now. I don't know what the odds are, what the percentages are, but
55.
I was okay. Yeah, I'm about to say I would assume it's somewhere around 50-50, so the fact that we're right back in the driver's seat, in control of our own destiny, you just got to win and you're in. This is a stressful season. This is the most stressful season I think that we have, had on this podcast. If I'm not mistaken, it may be the year where Lamar got hurt, like mid-season. Maybe that
Yeah.
one
We
stacks
kind of
up, but
chalked
this
it
one
up.
is,
We chalked. I
yeah,
think
yeah, but
after,
this one is just different.
yeah, because like we actually have a chance. Back then we were fighting for our lives, but we knew we weren't going to win anything. Even this, I don't think we're going to win the Super Bowl, but I think we can at least go in and maybe win a playoff game. If the matchup's right,
Mm,
because we have the talent. We were trotting out just guys in 2021. You know, what was his name? Kevon Seymour and Robert Jackson that corner. You know what I mean? We had to sign Tony Jefferson off the street, and he came in and played well for us. Stuff
yeah,
like that. This is kind of a different year, but I'm feeling good. I'm could be my downfall, but they don't scare me whatsoever. Aaron Rodgers does not scare me. Please, if this can be his last game, nothing will make me happier as an Aaron Rodgers hater to end his career right here. Just send him
yeah.
off,
I
please.
would love
Send
that.
him,
Nothing I
send
would
him to
love
him.
more.
Send him to go freaking with the salts and everything, and do whatever he wants to do in a freaking cave in the middle of nowhere. Just let him be.
Yeah. Um. Okay, so you mentioned the playoffs, right? And let's
I
just say,
did.
hypothetically speaking, the Ravens do beat the Steelers like you're predicting. Again, surprise, surprise. It's looking like if the Ravens get the 4 seed, the 5 seed is probably going to be the Houston Texans. I think there's like a
Yes.
65+% chance
Yes.
of that being the 5 seed. So hypothetically speaking, again, if the Ravens do beat the Steelers and they invite Houston into town, how comfortable would you feel in that matchup? Because people were telling me yesterday, I think in some of the comment sections, they were saying that, Houston's defense is like that. And I don't think that the Ravens offense has anything that can hang with that. What would you think about that matchup? Because I think differently. I think that the Ravens could beat the Texans. I absolutely do.
Their defense is very, very good. Uh, on the other hand, Stroud, some of the mistakes he was making, they should have blown out the Chargers on Saturday. Don't know how they
Yeah.
didn't, especially when you get the turnovers like they did. The way they started, 2 touchdowns up, 14-0 quick, and to be barely winning and for the Chargers to have a chance in the fourth quarter, that's not a championship football team. So I'm not saying it'll be an easy game by any stretch, but we would have our chances in that game. It just depends how we coach, how we call plays, because the way I'm looking at this right now, Loki, is like the 2019 Titans. Just Derrick Henry. Like that is the way to win games, and just don't make mistakes, and hopefully the defense can get you a turnover or two.
Yeah, again, that's really all it boils down to. So, and I hope that is, you know what I'm saying? I hope that is the matchup that we get, because we got to get our get back for what they did
Yeah,
to us earlier this year. You know what I'm saying? Like they really put a whooping on us. I get it. No Lamar. I understand that. We had to painfully sit through Cooper Rush that game, right? It was horrible. Horrible stuff.
it was
You
awful.
know, it was awful.
I was
But
there. Yeah.
I think that with Lamar coming back, and again, I mentioned this, he's gonna have 2 weeks of rest going into the Steelers game. If he can get out of that one unscathed, right? If it's another heavy Derrick Henry game and we just really run the Steelers out of their own stadium with Henry, give Lamar Jackson another week of rest. Now he's getting back to his prime form, right? His healthy self. Actually, I think he torches the Houston Texans like he normally does torch the Houston Texans, right? So th- hope is not over. It's not hope is not done.
Yeah.
It's not gone from this Ravens team. Last week we were sitting here thinking that, yeah, the season's going to be over after this one. There's no way we're going to hit a 2-leg parlay of the Browns beating the Steelers and the Ravens beating the Packers, but that's exactly what we did, right? So here we are. We're rolling our dice again this week. Got to beat the Steelers, of course. Got to take care of
Yeah.
business there. get your get back. But I have some optimism going into this playoffs. If the Ravens can make it, I think they can knock off a Houston Texans team. I think they can knock off a Denver Broncos team. I think
Thank
they can
you.
knock off the
Thank
Bills.
you.
You know
Thank
what I'm
you.
saying? Yeah.
The Broncos have like all these wins of just one score games.
Yeah.
I'm not moved. Congrats, you have the 1 seed. So did the Ravens in 2019 when Lamar was, taking the league by storm. I'm just not moved by the Broncos right now. Defense is good, but they have mistakes. But if Bo Nix doesn't play above average, I don't see him getting far.
And I love the fact that the Ravens, if they were to make the playoffs, they will be going into the playoffs with the narrative of, okay, we see all you guys at the top of the conference, like you mentioned, the Denver Broncos, the Bills are up there, and who else is up there?
Patriots.
The Chargers. Oh, Patriots. I knew I was forgetting one major one. But it's like we've been in you guys' position before. That's the
Right.
narrative we're taking. We're going into this postseason, basically, y'all let us in. You know you didn't want to do that to begin with, right? So you fucked up there. Not to mention, we have a history of being in the playoffs and being in you guys' exact positions, and we couldn't get it done. So now we're the underdog.
Yeah.
Now we're the underdog, right? And we kind of get to prove ourselves. We have that chip on our shoulder. We're not front running into the playoffs. We're kind of backing into the playoffs and like saying, okay, let's get it on. You know what I'm saying? And I think that if this Ravens team, which I think that they do, and I know Harbaugh has to be coaching this and preaching this all week long, you have to be opportunists. You are not supposed to have this chance. The Browns were not supposed to beat the Steelers. This is happening for a reason. If there's anything that Harbaugh is going to say to those guys this week, it's like, what are you going to do with this opportunity? If you need to bring in, what's his name, Eric Williams, the motivational speaker from when we were 1-4, 1-5, bring him back in and say, what are you prepared to do? You know what I'm saying? With this opportunity that you have, you're going to go into Pittsburgh and tuck your tails and get sent home, get sent to Cancun early, or are you going to take care of business, go to the playoffs, and shock the world? Which one do you want to do? After everybody counted you out, which one do you want to do? Somebody's got to be in there firing those guys up this week. That's all I know.
You start off 1-5, and you have the chance now. We were the laughing stock the first 6 weeks. Every single fan base was getting their licks in at us. And if they said they weren't, they were. I can promise you that, especially in the AFC. Hell, we had probably Bengals fans making fun of us. But the fact you can go in there, get a home playoff game, the bank at the playoffs is a damn freaking fortress if the fans are up for it, which I hope they are. They better be. The play on the field at home has not been good, but the fans, Patriots game, I think they were up for it. Look at a team in the AFC. You can give me any team. I'll give you a reason why we could beat them. Every team has their flaws. Mr. Drake May, Mr. MVP. I mean, our defense, thanks a lot. You were giving up 3rd and 15s and Derrick Henry take them out the game, but we had them on their freaking heels. And like, I can't buy into them. I really can't buy into any team right now in the AFC, including the Ravens themselves. The NFC, I can see, you can make a case for some of the teams. AFC, I think every, team has their flaws. And I don't know who's going to make it out. I really don't.
The only team that I can see like actually making some real noise in the playoffs is the Bills. And they don't even have the most talent. It's just the fact that they have the experience, right? They've also been there and done that. They've played in multiple divisional round games. They've played in multiple AFC championship games to this point. They just could never beat the Chiefs. But guess what? There is no Mahomes in the Chiefs this year. So I think that in the playoffs, you're going to see this Bills team knock off the likes of whoever they play in the first round, right? I don't know exactly who that will be. I would love to know the highest percentage of that, but I think that they're going to, whether it be Denver or whoever.
Right now,
they're going to,
I think the Jags, I want to say, is who they play. And that's the same Jags who got taken to the ropes by Phillip Rivers.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
The Jags won 7 straight, though, I think. I think that's their 7th straight victory. I want to say something like that.
Oh, I'm sorry. They be playing the Patriots. If they put the Patriots, if the season ended today, Patriots, Bills, I bet you the Bills would be beating the Patriots.
I mean, I would love that.
I'm just not sold. Congrats, you threw 5 on the Jets. Congrats. Do you want a cookie? Like, I'm really just not moved.
I'm not either. And like the fact that you're saying like the highest percentage matchup would be Bills and Patriots, so you're telling me that one of those teams gets to get eliminated just off the bat. I'm cool with that. You know what I'm saying? They can take each other out. We beat up on Houston. Again, this is all hypothetically speaking, right? And we find ourselves right back in the AFC divisional round against the Bills or whoever else. And you talk
This
about
is
a
purple.
script, Alex.
This is purple blinders talk. This is what it is.
It is.
Like
It is.
the A Pro Keon Coleman with like a cookie. Not the Keon Coleman jokes.
Oh gosh.
They give that grace to young players. They give that grace to young players. I love those edits, man. They're so good. Oh man, they're so good. But with all being said, I know the position we're in right now. We may not even make the playoffs, but I'm just speaking for reason why you want to. It is just so open. It really is. I think, and with this team, I'm just not scared of anybody right now. I'm really not.
Yeah.
Last year, we both agreed if we somehow would have made the Super Bowl, playing the Eagles would have been hard. I mean, the way their D-line is, I feel the way with some NFC teams. But AFC teams, maybe the Broncos, their defensive line, but their offense isn't that scary to me.
Point is, bring them on. Whoever it is, bring them on. You know what I'm
Just
saying?
get there.
The Ravens, we have our issues. Right, just get there. Just get there. Beat the Steelers this week. Go into the playoffs, and anything goes. Anything goes from there. All you have to do is make it in the tournament. That's all you have to do, and anything can happen from there. So that's really the moral of this episode. Take care of business next week. Get into the playoffs, and we'll have a whole lot more to talk about here on the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. But I think we're gonna go ahead and leave it there for this episode 364 of PRP. We've talked about the Packers game. We wrapped up that. We recapped that. We talked about Browns versus Steelers. We talked about Tyler Huntley or Lamar Jackson. Which one would you prefer to start? Again, 100% healthy Tyler Huntley, who it looks like the offense is running smoothly and efficiently through, highlighting Derrick Henry, or do you want kind of like the boom or bust potential of a 60 to 70% Lamar Jackson, who of course can make those bigger plays down the field, but maybe you don't get so much of the Henry effect that this Ravens team needs, especially in cold months. Henry is going absolutely crazy in December, so either way, either quarterback, he needs to be a big part of the game plan. Anyways, make sure you guys like this video. Also subscribe to the channel as well. Alex and I, we got to talk about when we're going to do our preview episode, because Thursday is New Year's Day, I believe.
Oh, it is. It is.
Yeah. So I guess we'll talk about that.
Okay.
We'll talk
We'll
about
talk
that
about it
after stream. Yeah, we'll post what we're going to do on Instagram. Then I'll be live throughout the week, and I'll talk about it too. So, again, with that being said, my name is Sutton Def. You can find me on Twitter or Instagram at Sutton Def. You can find Simply on Twitter at SimplyAS10 and on Instagram at SimplyAS10.prod. And we love and appreciate you guys. Of course, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, join our memberships, right? Our memberships are awesome here. You get the nice little the badge here in the chat. You stand out. You also get exclusive content as well. Again, we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. And with that being said, I'm going to let my guy Alex take us out.
Yeah, thank you for coming through episode 364 of the Purple Rain Podcast. Man, stay positive, test negative, and stay safe on New Year's Eve. If you go out, if you're doing that, Uber, Lyft, a friend, call them if they're sober. Just get home safe. And yeah, Happy New Year's.
Yeah, of course. Stay positive, test negative. Never, ever, ever forget, even on the rainy days, to call God. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.